everybody. Nice to have everyone here. This is our 50th show, as soon as KL unmutes his mic.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. What's up?
Cool.
Hey.
So, we got something a little special again.
Yeah.
As people might notice by the one-camera format. We're
I'm
going to go ahead
still-
and do open phones here in a bit after we talk about weekend gaming stuff.
Yeah. So Colin's in one phone or one screen
One
format, one screen, and I'm still in dual screen. So
Oh, you say dual?
yeah, I have it switched so that you'll pop in. But we're here. I'm eating my food. I'm hungry. Frag Logic 50 viewers are gonna be in. I'm gonna be able to sit back a little bit, get my meal on, listen to some people. I'm pretty excited. It's gonna be a good show. Now, if you're on YouTube and you're watching, I'm just going to let you guys know that the chat is going to be a lot more active and robust, and it's going to refresh at a better rate over on Twitch. So if you want to watch both, you can. Silas and I have slightly different layouts. The Twitch chat, just Twitch TV/Arctic with a Y. You guys can pop in over there, and that way you guys get links to the Google Hangout. You guys caught my video yesterday. All the information is down in the description in that video as well. So you need Google Hangouts in order to hop in. That needs to be known. But starting off weekend gaming, and I should list all the topics. We have weekend gaming. We have some Titanfall discussion. We got some stuff on the Oculus Rift. And then we're gonna basically open it up to the viewers. We have a couple other topics in case people don't know what they want to talk about. We can kind of push the conversation in a certain direction. But weekend gaming stuff, Colin, I played some Starbound. I'm still grinding on that. Did a little bit of streaming of that. Played Killer Instinct. Did some streaming on Sunday. Played Loadout. We just released our new female character. Did you catch any of her yet, Colin?
Helga? I saw a few images.
Okay, yeah. That ass is jiggling all over the place. Just twerking it.
It's an interesting direction to go with it.
Yeah, no. And I also have my my Project Spark beta code. I got that on Friday, I think.
Oh yeah, I was asked if you needed my extra one or not.
Yeah, I haven't been able to play yet or not yet, so I haven't gotten any feedback on it. But as soon as because I don't have Windows 8 on this PC, I have it on one of the ones.
So work one, yeah.
Yeah, so I have to get it downloaded there in order to play it, and let some of the guys on the studio kind of take a look at it. So that's my plan with that. And I also saw that with the Project Spark stuff that they came. What's the studio's name? I never remember. You're on a blank too?
I should know this.
You should.
I feel bad. Thing is, it's not really a studio. It's technically from Microsoft. But their team does have a name, and I feel bad for not remembering off the top of my head.
Wow. I'm disappointed.
I mean, it's not even like listed on their site if you go to their site.
I'm disappointed, Colin. Anyway, so if you guys saw, you actually get the access to the Xbox One beta, which they delayed to next month if you got your PC invite. So I'm going to be looking forward to playing that on the Xbox
Team Dakota.
One. Team Dakota.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There we go. And then one other bit of like news. Oh, well, there's two other things, I guess. There's some No Man's Sky informational multiplayer that just got released on Edge. I saw it posted on Polygon. If you guys want to check that out, you can. Not going to link to it, but we can talk about that maybe a little bit in the show. SimCity offline mode got announced. Did you see that shit, Colin?
Yep.
That's a topic for discussion that kind of is going to wrap into where I want to see us go with Titanfall. And Evolve pre-orders went live today, right before the show, actually.
That's a game most people probably don't know about and haven't heard anything about, so that should be a good one to talk about as well.
So, that was my weekend so far. Go ahead, Colin. Let me know what you did this weekend.
I'm still working on video stuff, and then I play Counter-Strike a bit. Still grinding out the competitive matches, and that's pretty much it. Archer kicked back up yesterday, so I watched Archer season premiere.
Okay.
Also caught Community is back in full swing. Like all my usual shows, after not being around for like 8 months, they're all coming back around the same time. And we got Game of Thrones coming up soon, so like all of them run the same cycle, which is pretty funny. So I got Community, I got Archer. Archer blew me away last night. It's essentially a spy comedy, right? Well, not anymore. They blew up the entire spy plot entirely, and they're scrapping it.
Really?
Yeah, but all the characters are still the same, and like they made it. They're gonna make it work in a pretty cool way. They did like a basically a 4-minute trailer for the season at the end of the show, which is pretty weird. At the end of the episode.
I think I've only seen one episode of trailer, and then I saw that clip from our Community, and you sent us that
the Nicolas Cage episode. So good, so good.
Oh man, so yeah, I watched some of that, and thought it was pretty funny. But okay,
yeah.
All right.
Not much else going on really.
Yeah, everybody's kind of just waiting. We got 2 months, less than 2 months now. Officially, less than 2 months for everyone.
What, like 54 days till Titanfall?
Yeah, you guys might not see anything else that I'm like going to be streaming on Twitch, except for Titanfall. Probably some loadout. That's it. For like a couple months straight.
It's gonna be a long 2 months though.
That grind, yeah, I don't know.
Actually, I don't know because we're prepping video stuff, and they might release a demo beta at some point.
I think we're gonna get a demo beta. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think so too. I'd be surprised if they didn't do a demo beta.
All right, so since we've already kind of started with the Titanfall discussion, let's try to get some people in.
Yeah, I'll put the link in chat. Maybe. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, putting the link inside of the Twitch chat. Before I post this, some ground rules. I have the ability to mute or eject or turn off cameras for anyone, so don't be a dick. I'll just turn you off immediately.
And no dicks.
Be banned forever.
Don't be a dick, and we don't want to see dicks. No dicks. Yes. Please.
Both those things.
Chat roulette. Just go over there.
I might also mute you if you're going off topic or you're just like rambling on and on, just in order to keep the show going, since I think that's my duty as a moderator. So here's the link in chat. Again, it's open phone, so if you want to hop in, talk about some topics, if you have anything in your mind or just want to hang out, then go ahead and join. You click the link, and then there's a like little green camera button you have to click on. I think by default, when you get into the room, you'll be muted, and then you can unmute yourself, I believe. So we want to talk. You want to go segue into SimCity? Is that?
Yeah. Let me get down chewing this food for a second. I'm starving. All right, so SimCity, EA Maxis announced on, might have been yesterday, Monday, that they're going to have an offline mode. If anyone played SimCity, had an absolutely terrible launch. Maybe one of the worst that we've seen yet. What do you think, Colin?
It's pretty bad. I mean, at the time, a lot of people compared it to the Diablo launch, which was pretty bad as well. Diablo got their shit together pretty fast, though.
And SimCity, it took 3 weeks? 3 weeks, and then they said, okay, we can't fix this. We're turning off half the shit.
Yeah.
Something like that for features. I remember...
I mean, the fact they disable being able to speed up the game, I would think that would put it pretty squarely in the worst launch ever.
Yeah.
Just because that was something which shouldn't even been affected by any of their online stuff. It was just general failure on their part.
it was, I don't know. There was a lot of stuff in there that bothered me. They didn't really talk about too much. Like they weren't apologetic. They didn't allow for refunds if you had purchased it. Basically, I think the reward was like a free game, something like that. That like they gave you a free game that really didn't equate to the value of you having a frustrating launch like that. And in addition to that, you know, there was a lot of people saying, well, if this had an offline mode, we wouldn't have had any of these issues, and people would be able to play the game that they purchased.
Right.
On top of some of the technical issues with the game that were like you couldn't have really big city sizes because they're used to that new engine or whatever. Just a bunch of stuff. Then they said that the calculations or why they couldn't have offline mode is because the cloud calculations were too much, too strenuous, something like that.
To put that onto a computer.
To put it on a computer, yeah.
And their word was that it was impossible for them to have an offline mode.
Impossible unless there was impossible unless they put in a whole lot of work to get it done.
No, they just said outright impossible.
No, they didn't. I looked at it. There's some quotes.
Impossible with the current state of the game, I believe was, or with the current way that things are set up, I believe is what they said.
Yeah. They said it would take a whole lot of development time. All right, so there was a couple dudes, some mods or something like some mods that got into SimCity, and then they got like half the game to work offline. So, and they also debunked this notion that calculations were being offloaded into the cloud. So, then people started to kind of, you know, question why they didn't have an offline mode. And I guess in October, Maxis said, hey guys, we're thinking about working on an offline mode. And then today or yesterday, they announced that there was going to be an offline mode in the new patch 10 or whatever. So basically, the next article that I read was talking about how EA has managed a number of their games. Voted the worst company to work at or something like that. Was that 2013? Or maybe 2012, but the vote was for 2013. That's the episode where we were saying, we talking about EA. And they...
I'm pretty sure they won a couple of years, actually.
Probably, yeah, that might be 2 years in a row. They had the Rocky, and before that, they had the Rocky Battlefield 3 start. That was 2011. Then you get the Sims City launch. Then you get Battlefield 4 launch. And so where I kind of thought about this discussion, I posted some on Twitter, is EA has notoriously had this really bad reputation among gamers. It's been like this for years, and I think it's because of the yearly cycle that they kind of started with the sports games, and you know, there's nothing really changing, and then it kind of got into a couple other things. I remember stuff like Battlefield Heroes, and they were trying to introduce stuff with Battlefield, like it was like you had to pay for the weapons or something like that.
They did with Battlefield 3 at least. I think maybe for Bad Company 2 as well, you could just outright buy all the unlocks.
It might have been Bad Company 2. I think it was.
And then they made all the unlocks take forever.
Yeah, so I just remember this history with EA of like they think they're in line and in tune with gamers or whatever they have their goals, and then they have this huge user backlash. And so my worry and concern is, and I don't know how much creative control they're going to have over Respawn and Titanfall, but my concern is that they could diminish Titanfall as a franchise, maybe the next title, the title after that, if Respawn isn't adamant about keeping that IP very well controlled and tightly I want to say released, designed. I'm not sure what's the best way to word it for them.
Yeah, I'd say those guys coming over from Activision, I'd say that was a major part of their contracts. I'd be very surprised if creative control wasn't something that was all over their contracts.
So I kind of wonder, for some of the guys, Colin, their mics are picking up. I might have to actually
Caleb, you got some echo. You
Am I good now?
fix that.
It should be fixed now, right?
Yeah, it's good.
No, okay, sorry.
Welcome, Jared and Caleb, by the way.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm a little concerned with, EA's rep and how they kind of dilute the quality of a franchise or a game, as we've seen, and with franchise titles over time. And I'm also kind of worried that the negative association that EA has could impact Titanfall's sales and performance overall, like long term. At the same time, there could be an argument made that perhaps Titanfall will be the saving grace for EA's rep, in addition to some of the other IPs that we've talked about in the past. Stuff like with Star Wars franchises that they're going to be possibly taking over, Battlefront 3, and then was it Knights of the Old Republic or whatever, and stuff like that. So that's where I kind of want to lean this discussion. We can talk about some of the other stuff with Titanfall, but I really want to know what you guys kind of think about EA's role in the development of Titanfall and how that could impact the game long term. Kyle, start. Anybody can go. Just open to anybody right now.
I don't think in the long run it's going to impact it at all, because EA's had a history of this kind of stuff. So I really don't think that people are going to be too aware or concerned about it. So.
I mean, if they have a history of it, then isn't that the other way around? Like, they should be concerned?
I mean, I think people should be concerned, but I don't think that they're going to be. I don't see it being an issue in the long run.
Is Caleb's mic on? Or no, I'm not sorry. Jared's?
Jared?
Yeah. Hello?
Okay.
You can hear me?
Okay. Sure. You picked up a couple times. We just want to make sure you were on.
Oh, I didn't know I was. I thought I was muted already, so I kept quiet.
No, you're live.
Oh, okay. Well, I really think that they might, knowing EA, they might treat it like Battlefield. Knowing if it brings them enough money, like as much as Battlefield does, then they would probably keep it the same, knowing that, like, oh hey, it's making us money, we'll just keep doing what we want to do.
I feel like there are ways off though of hitting that point. I think the initial launch of Titanfall is going to be something that's very much independent, as far as I can tell. Like, they haven't said, like, really, I haven't seen EA mentioned in vain with Titanfall at all across any of the marketing. So I don't think that EA is a huge force there.
Janitor's
we'll see.
Quoting, like I said, Respawn is in 100% control, as said via Twitter. EA has no say in Titanfall. Respawn calls the shots. And again, I'm speaking more long term. So, let's say Titanfall underperforms. Let's say let's say they have a sales goal that they want to hit. Titanfall doesn't meet that. At that point, does EA, from a publisher standpoint, I should say, do they say, hey, maybe you guys should try this. Maybe you guys should do this. Maybe you should do this a little bit better. How many people from EA are actually in that design phase of the next titles that could possibly have influence over the direction of the game? I think that's the important thing to take away from that, Janitor, because someone can say, oh, you don't really have we call all the shots. At the end of the day, EA is the one funding this, and I'm just from a standpoint of being in the room and listening to people talk about games. There's a lot of ideas that are bounced around, and next thing you know, you think you have someone else's idea that they implanted in your head, and you're running with that from a design standpoint. So I think that's a little concerning. Needless to say, regardless of whatever Titanfall has said, Respawn has said about that.
Like I said, I think that coming from Activision, I think that they have that all lined up contractually. Says that they'd be making a huge mistake if they didn't power play their way into that negotiation initially, so that they have full control over the franchise going forward. But as far as the launch, like, really the biggest issue that Battlefield's had, and not really SimCity. SimCity just had bad decisions. But Battlefield's issue has always been that they're cranking out games just so fast. At least recently, since Bad Company 2. Battlefield 3 was on a quick cycle. Battlefield 4 was on a quick cycle. They were shoved out without actual betas. They were mostly demos. And that's been the crux of almost all the issues has been launch bugs, right?
Right.
Which just boils down to me to be not enough time for development. Which really does come down to the publisher because they don't want to delay the game, but it's also partially just poor planning on the cycles, in my opinion, but it's hard to tell. And I don't think it'll affect Titanfall because it hasn't, as far as we know, the game isn't rushed at all. They were done content complete a couple months ago, 3 months ago, 2 months ago,
true.
something like that.
That is
so,
true.
Like, I don't think they'll have any issues with the launch of Titanfall.
Well, here's the other concern, and here's where SimCity comes into play. There is no offline mode. There is no offline mode that we know of. Everything is in the cloud. The servers are dedicated. I love it, but from that standpoint, you have to be a little concerned that there was no beta as of right now. We're month and a half away, regardless of if they were content complete or not. They could fall into that trap, and then it's another blow to EA, a blow to Respawn for not putting out a product that is untested in an all multiplayer environment. I mean, how many games have we seen now? Diablo, SimCity. I can name more. You got, what's the other all online one that was really bad? Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. In addition, I mean, Battlefield's multiplayer was a mess, but they did that twice, so I'm excluding them.
I mean, like,
that game.
StarCraft did fine. Realistically, they had some issues on launch day. Diablo had issues.
It was another action RPG, kind of like Diablo. I can't remember what it was.
There's not many.
I can't think.
It wasn't Path, right? Path's been fine.
No, it wasn't Path. It might have been Marvel Heroes. But they did a long beta in their defense. It might have been Marvel Heroes. Reading about that. But yeah, I think that's something to be a little concerned about from a publisher, developer standpoint, and the community at large. And you know how many people I've seen say they have no single player, I'm not even going to be interested in it, or it's untested, let's wait a couple months to see how things kind of shake out, then I might get it. I've seen dozens and dozens of those comments like that littered across the web. Defiance is another one that Ultra Luchador, yeah, that's another one. Defiance was, oh man, that was that was a rough one right there. And for those of you guys on Twitch asking about my camera, I actually have my bandwidth turned all the way down so that I can stream this, because I knew there was going to be a lot of people in here, and stream on YouTube, so my camera's not hogging all the bandwidth by me turning it on ultra high settings. So if I'm like stoppy or glitchy, or it looks like I'm in like a breakdancing or something like that, that's why. But on YouTube though, it should be smooth. They should see me nicely. Now, you guys, Caleb, Jared, you guys are a little silent. Feel free to interject at any point in time if you got something to say about Titanfall.
I just like listening. That's why. I mean, I was just like,
sure if I'm getting the game or not.
You're not sure if you're getting the game or
Still
not?
not sure?
No.
How are you not sure?
You're getting it for PC, right?
I'm getting it for PC and Xbox One. The
Right.
debate I had
I
was,
feel like it's gonna be geared for console, so I don't really see the point in getting it yet. So I'm not sure.
okay. Yeah.
You're more skeptical about the PC feature set.
Yeah.
And that stuff. Okay.
I feel like it might not even
That's
have
reasonable.
like an FOV slide or anything. I feel like it's just gonna be like just straight up geared for console. So
I'd say it's reasonable. They haven't talked about PC at all, and the only news they've given is that there's no mod support, which is negative.
there was it might have been Vince, someone that I read said something like, there's no need to worry about the quality control on PC. The experience there will be just, it was like a canned response. Kind of like the same one that they gave for...
Just as good is a low bar when comparing to consoles as far as the amount of settings you have.
Yeah, it's almost the exact same as what people have been saying, or what Respawn has said about the Xbox 360 version, which isn't even being developed by Respawn. It's just someone else. They're like, yeah, we've had a lot of say in how the game is being developed. Don't worry, it'll be a great quality product. And it's like, sure, you sure? Because like, there's how many people have their hands in the pot for like Call of Duty stuff, and you think that's gonna fly? I mean, hey, whatever, that's fine. Do your thing. I mean, I don't plan on getting it on Xbox 360, but do your thing. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I think there's some concern from a quality standpoint, definitely, Slaughter, that at least for PC, that it might not be as good as it can be.
I'm getting it for PC because mostly I like when I looked at the gameplay, I saw like, oh well, it's pretty damn fast paced. I mean, if it's claiming to be like how old school or throwback out, or how it's supposed to be like all fast paced and all, then I feel like those are the best type of shooters to play on the PC, because I mean, back then like the Unreal Tournament and Quake and whatnot, it's freaking fast. Like try playing that on a controller is like almost, I don't know. I don't think I would be able to do it, but I'd feel like the most enjoyable experience is just on the keyboard and mouse, and also you get like probably the best. Oh, obviously the best graphics, but performance-wise and gameplay-wise, I feel it suits PC a lot more than the consoles.
Armada, I think you might have a little bit of mic echo.
Yeah, I got it. It's not too bad.
I mean, ideally, if it works out on PC, I'll get it on there. But
here's the thing to consider for not being, kind of set on the PC, is that I think it was Mad Catz most recently showed off their peripherals for the Titanfall branded stuff that they have going out, and from the looks of it, they're going all in with their keyboard. I think they have like the Rat 3 mouse, some keyboard that's like it's mechanical. They branded it as their own tech or whatever. And then I think they're gonna have a branded controller, or no, it's a branded headset. Branded headset is what they're gonna have. So, based on what they're doing with that, I think they're confident in the PC gameplay. What we played the version of the game at PAX, and for all intent and purposes, I mean, we play with a controller. I imagine if I had a mouse and keyboard, I would have whooped people's ass even more. But
you didn't get to see any of the settings or anything.
I didn't get to see the settings. Yeah, they had it.
Or how the servers will be set up. Like, will it be a server browser? Will it be forced matchmaking?
Yeah, they had that shit locked down. So,
can you host your own servers, or will you be stuck playing on whatever servers they provide? Like, all those things are pretty big stuff for PC crowd. In addition, anti-cheat, which is much more required on PC than console. Welcome, Armada and Anthony. You guys both should be good now.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Armada, you good?
Armada's mic.
Maybe not.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. I turned off my mic, sorry.
Okay.
Cool. Anyone else have any additional thoughts on
EA, Titanfall, concerns?
So is Mad Catz putting out those PC hopes of like Titanfall really picking up really well, like how they did with Street Fighter 4 when they made those fight sticks, how they had like an SE edition and a tournament edition, and those sold like freaking hotcakes, and then they just kept pumping out more and more as the fighting community grew.
Well, I think they're trying to basically play off of the popularity of Titanfall. So they're hoping that because the game is getting all this hype, that a lot of people are going to buy into the products. I don't know if they necessarily think that the PC version is going to be superior in any way. Around the time that they would have been making these deals, they were playing on a PC version of the game. So I think in that respect, they're probably confident in the product. So they're willing to say, yeah, we're going to develop the keyboard. Because normally, and I can't remember what other games did, maybe Gears?
At launch?
They didn't have products at launch, but they had the Triton thing for one of the Gears titles, and it was just a headset, I think. It wasn't a headset. So
I think there was one for 3 as well.
that sounds right to me. So, you know, and Mad Catz owns Triton. So, I mean, it's like, I think they're pretty confident in saying, yeah, we're going to do this with Titanfall because they're confident in the quality of the product. But, I mean, that's just speculation right now.
I would still speculate that it was just more of a matter that they had console, or rather, they had PC, where equipment on the Xbox One is still under development. Like, they had a headset, which is basically the same one they had on 360, just adapted over for Xbox One, but there's no new controller or anything like that, which they could have thrown their branding around. So it makes more sense to do a full package on PC. That's my 2 cents on why they would do PC peripherals.
They're saying Gears of War 3 in the Twitch chat was Gears 3.
Triton Gears 3.
That's
that thing was ugly. That was a really ugly headset.
Remember how pissed we were when they came out with that?
It was really ugly.
No, so ugly.
We had a bunch of D-Bash, remember?
Yeah. The cool thing though is I thought the keyboard looked pretty badass. What I'm pissed about is none of it is Razer branded, obviously. So I remember tweeting at Razer saying, you know, you guys should have scooped up on this deal, but whatever. Mad Catz got it.
All right. Do you want to segue into? We can talk about Ghosts getting hired over at 343, along with Neighbor and Dursky most recently.
Yeah,
we can talk about Twitch on Xbox One. We can talk about.
What do you guys think? And this is back on Titanfall. What do you guys think about the 6v6 stuff? I mean, you know, we talked about it last week a bit, but we didn't get any actual viewer reactions on stream of what you guys kind of thought about it. Is it going to something that deters you from buying it, or do you guys feel like you don't really care as long as the game is good?
I really don't care as long as it's and whatnot. I mean, 6v6 is fine, plus the popcorn AI. I mean, if they're gonna let Titanfall be modded, I mean, that's why I'm getting the PC version. So like, if they do end up adding more players, just in case if like there's a map that like, oh, we need like, it would be better if there was 20 players or 30, then sure. But the player count doesn't really faze me because if it's fast paced, you're not going to really notice like that there's no one on the map or anything.
What surprises me, in 4 years, people have been only playing Battlefield 4 and COD, and these games have high player counts, and now that's kind of almost become the norm. I feel like it was kind of just
to it because it has like 64 and
yeah, not at all.
I've always preferred lower player numbers, but for a game like that, we'll just have to see. It feels strange because of the Titans that there's lower player numbers, but I guess it'll work out.
And they talked about there being a total of 48 players that can be in the game. So I mean, people keep interpreting this very differently. AI being like creeps and MOBAs. Colin, you might have mentioned that.
Yeah, I kind of like that comparison quite a bit. And I haven't seen like Riot or Respawn devs outright say it, but they keep kind of hinting towards that being the more intended focus for it.
Do Titans count as players, or do they count them, or
in that 48 number? Yeah.
Yeah, I think they.
So then they add one.
Because they can be set on AI, so they can follow or attack things on their own.
Yep.
Also with the AI, they're only worth 50 points, while regular players are worth 500. So I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent for.
And I honestly,
Dota or League.
I don't remember seeing. I mean, I saw people on screen, but I don't remember seeing them to the effect that they were so prevalent that every time I saw someone or something moving, I was like, oh, that's adding to my score. Oh, that's adding to my score. It felt about right. So I mean, it's hard for me to say which one or which direction they should go without having more information on it. But I know one thing is for sure. I don't really care about it being 6v6. That is like the least of my concerns.
So I'm kind of happy that they're fixing on that low, just because of map design purposes.
Is the AI like pretty stupid, or do they actually put up a fight and shooting you back, or is it just an easy, quick kill?
So they've said the first thing that the AI does is they'll actually spot an enemy. So like they don't even shoot initially when they see you, but if you ignore them and they're kill you, but it's nothing impressive.
Okay, I don't want to be like Gears bots or just randomly something and the sniper.
I don't remember seeing anything like that. I need to change these broadcast settings on.
Is it obvious when a player is a bot, or like can you tell the difference easily? Like oh that's a bot, or oh that's a player. Like is there a easy way to identify that other than what they're actually doing?
It was difficult for me to tell the difference. I think that people are going to need to play it a little bit more. I mean, I played as much as I possibly could, and it was hard for me to tell sometimes who was a bot and who wasn't. I thought they were showing up on the radar a little bit differently, and then I went back and watched some video, and it was like, no, that's not exactly right. So it was right in front of you, and you're like, oh shit, that's a player. It's kind of difficult. And there's also guys, like I didn't see AI on top of buildings. So if you see someone platforming, like jumping around, getting on top of stuff, like I'm pretty sure that's always a player. I don't remember any bots doing that.
From the videos I've seen, there haven't been any bots doing that. They've always just been on the ground, running along, almost in single file, realistically, from point to point.
Do you see that might be like a strategy that someone might use to blend in with the bots, thinking that you won't be able to really tell as easily, so that way they can psych you out or blend in, and I don't know what they do, but use that to their advantage.
Maybe.
You'd still be walking in the dumb spots the bots are walking in.
Well, I mean, if they're clustering in a group, I don't know.
Kind of just like, hey, shoot at me, I saw.
I hope it's somewhat similar to like Monday Night Combat, where there was like the enemies coming down the line or the waves, and then you could have a guy dedicated just to clearing those repeatedly, get a numbers advantage, and then also to build up meter really quick or gold in that game.
I'm missing that game was good.
That game was fun.
Yeah, I think everything's based on a timer for the Titan. So each kill kind of counts towards the Titan.
Right.
So it's just going to be adding points to just get that goal.
Seems like that's pretty much all we can do with this, and let's move on to another topic. You guys can choose one, or we can go with the. I have the Oculus Rift stuff from CES. Everyone all raving about it. Every single place that I went to and was trying to read up on some game news. Oculus Rift, the new version. Oh my god, so good! It's so good. You guys won't believe how good this VR is. Oh my god, it's so lovely. And I was just like, okay. I mean, you guys have heard me before on this VR stuff. I think the Oculus Rift is really cool. I need to try the new one because the last one that I tried, I got kind of motion sick from it. And they've all but said that has disappeared now. So I'm interested in it. And then on top of that, Valve announced yesterday or earlier today. Days are kind of blending together for me. So there seems like there's going to be this very big push for VR this year. I kind of wanted, I think we had this discussion on the last episode where we had viewers like, is anyone convinced yet? I think everyone is like really skeptical. Either you're really enthusiastic about it and you're like, oh my god, I can't wait to try this. This is the future. Or you've been burned too many times and you're like, I don't know right now. I don't know.
I think that's the category I'm in. I feel like it's going to be another Kinect or something.
Where you can't really show you can't show the 3D holographic thing.
You're like, oh man, this guy's having fun. Oh god,
yeah.
This is so much fun. Look at him. He
that looks
like
really
he's having
immersive.
a great time.
So yeah, like you just have to take people's word for it, especially when this is a new version that they showed off, which is supposed to fix the motion blur. It also adds a external camera and then like a bunch of little dots on the Rift itself, which is so you can have head tracking movement, so they can do depths and stuff. Something previous, it's not the same as what they're showing now. My concern is that they added an external camera, which is going to increase the cost, which was one of the reasons they didn't have an external camera to begin with, was so they wouldn't have to have extra costs. Similar to how like bundling the Kinect with the Xbox One increased the cost by about $100 by all reports.
Aren't they generally talking about like a $300 price range? Is that the speculated price range, 3 to 5?
That was like what the dev kits were, right?
Yeah.
So
Dev kits are traditionally more than retail units. Traditionally.
Yeah. But you still have to plug into a PC, right? Like it's an accessory, it's not standalone. So it's not like buying a console.
Right. Does that hurt it?
Buy it for use.
Oh man, it's like it's not like anything because the Virtual Boy, which is the last one I remember people being like, "Oh my God, Virtual Boy,
Red."
the red. Let me kill your eyes." That's the last one I remember. Like you could pop in games to that and play, and I think I played a Wario Land game or something like that. And afterwards, I was like, I am never putting that thing on my head again, just because of the red was like so intense. I was like, I'm just not. Then look at me, I sit there trying fucking dev kits on Oculus, on the Oculus Rift. I'm trying to read some of the chat here. Imagine No Man's Sky on the Oculus Rift. Oh my freaking gosh. That seems like it would be pretty cool.
Imagine a horror game on Oculus Rift, man. I would crap my pants. Like,
yeah, I want to see Kale play a horror game on the Rift.
You guys won't be able to see my reactions. What are you gonna? Oh God!
That's a good point.
You're not gonna be able to see anything. Like that's the whole. I won't tremble.
Oh, you'll tremble.
Okay. I won't tremble.
That'd be really cool. I think horror games and like really big world stuff. I was telling Kale the other day we were talking about this, and I was saying that a Myst game, maybe just because it's all about exploring like crazy over-the-top worlds, and not necessarily shooting and actually having to move and twitch and stuff.
Yeah, the interesting thing about that discussion is I actually came up with a game idea throughout that all. I feel comfortable telling people this idea because I don't really care that much because it's the VR. So, what do you guys think about a like mountain climbing / hiking type ordeal where that's the best way I can put it, but like imagine like you have two things and you're like scaling mountains with your VR thing. I think that would be pretty fucking awesome.
Hiking Simulator 2014?
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's what came to mind.
But you're mountain climbing. It's like a mountain climbing simulator. So like, let's say you would want to practice for Everest, right? You could totally sell this to these dudes, like, 'cause they would buy into it. You want to practice Everest, and like they get a detailed path, exact to the T, for this game of how climbing Mount Everest would be. And then you put on your Oculus Rift and you do the practice run on it, and then you go on your adventure and you know everything about it, except for like when weather happens.
Well, there's no like physical.
Then you're just fucked.
To it. I mean, you can, yeah, oh, it looks easy, but when you actually climb a mountain, it's hard as hell. You have to have the body strength for that. So it'll probably trick people into thinking like, yeah, I can scale this mountain, and they go to the actual mountain like, shit, I can't do this.
And then you get sued because you built a training simulator that didn't actually prepare people for it.
Well, I mean, like if you're in a training,
don't actually go mountain climbing based off this.
Exactly, it's like wrestling. Imagine being a wrestler, like WWE. You could practice with people jumping off their people jumping off their shit, breaking legs and stuff, breaking tables. It's so real.
There actually was. If you remember, back in the early '90s, there was a game called, I think, Backyard Brawl or something like that. Is that right? Shit. But like the game led to a like bunch of kids doing copycat shit and holding fights in their backyards with boards with nails in them and shit.
Dudes doing flips off the top of their houses and stuff, landing on tables. I remember all that. You dude. Oculus Rift. That's gonna be the new revolution. WWE is gonna be branding that. Be like The Rock.
It's just the biggest issue is always going to be there's no actual physical, like you aren't actually moving. So when you're moving and it's super immersive and you're still standing there, it's.
If Christy puts that thing on, I promise you, she's gonna be sitting there walking around.
Trying to.
Or my mom put it on, she would be like moving.
There's a lot of videos online of people like giving it to their grandmas and their moms, and everyone is just blown away.
Yeah, and they start moving. They're like, oh.
They try to.
Oh.
Then they get sick really quick.
First person fight night, UFC. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm reading some of this.
I think the devs even said that it's supposed to be a seated experience, so there's problems there in terms of motion tracking.
Oh, they could. They could, you know how they did the Kinect when they first launched it? Make sure you have about 6 feet of space before playing. 6 feet?
Make sure you have an entire warehouse behind you, perfectly lit.
Do you remember me testing that, Colin? Oh, man.
Yeah. We had a giant house in India, and we still couldn't set it up right.
It couldn't recognize black people initially. I'm not joking.
No, my friend was like that. He was telling me like he was at a party and they were playing like Just Dance or something, and then they recognized everyone but him, and he just came up with a block.
It's the shadows, just blend in. I remember when we did the Fight Night scan. Remember the face scan for Fight Night Round 4? When it made me a very skinny black man as after we did the face scan. Camera technology has a long way to go.
True. True. But yeah, some of the other stuff I saw with that, and I don't know if you guys caught this, but the SteamVR stuff, they had like big picture mode available. Like when you put on the Oculus Rift, they were talking about being able to like select the menus and looking at stuff in big picture mode was really awesome. I don't know if they talked about any games out of box that are going to work with it. I mean, there's some that Valve I know have functioning with the Rift.
The only thing I know of is Team Fortress that works with it.
Yeah, Team Fortress and it's with it too. There was a demo for it. I'm pretty sure there was a demo they had for it as well. So we'll see. At this point, I would feel comfortable purchasing it at $300 would be the very top end, and that would be after.
I need to try it somewhere.
Yeah, that would be after I either tried it or had some, like Colin told me, he was like, listen, dude, I tried it. I loved it. I played the mountain climbing simulator. I thought it was the best. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm getting it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they made that game.
It sounds like it, dude, it'd be an awesome game.
I think
it's gonna be on Steam in a month, and
you would have people like trying to climb, like fake climb, like they'd be jumping, trying to get onto another ledge with like their ice picks.
You know how stupid you would look if someone were to just walk in the room and just see you like.
But you have to pay a microtransaction for the helicopter to come rescue you from the mountain.
$5.
Yep, $5 or else you're done.
you can open crates to get a new.
So while I change this, 343 hired Eric Hewitt, who some might know as Ghost Ayami. He was a Halo.
Let me spell his name. Former MLG Pro coach, Bravo. It seems like the community, the competitive community for Halo, is pretty excited about it. But yeah. And
yeah, those the things that drive me nuts is like people are like, man, Halo Pros had input in Halo 3, Halo 2, Halo Reach, and Halo 4 changed is way different. And I don't believe that's ever happened in Halo. There's been companies such as Blizzard with StarCraft had pro player on their dev team. Tom Brady is an example for Mortal Kombat. I believe there's a few.
Definitely wasn't close enough.
You okay?
Yeah. Oh my god.